The global version of War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is here, guys. This is going to be the reroll tier list as well as the procedure of how to actually reroll and reroll quickly in this new title. So if you want to see that stuff, this is the video for you guys. If you want to come and hang out on the Twitch stream, which we do 3 times a week, we'll be doing a bonus day tomorrow as well. Link to the description for that is there as well. So as far as actually how to reroll, there's only one simple thing you need to do. You need to complete the tutorial. It is not that difficult. You're going to get some, tutorial text boxes and here's the intro to how to upgrade weapons and all that good stuff. And then you're going to be able to go in there and you'll do your initial forced 10 summon pull. You'll get what you get there. Then you're going to be able to receive your pre-registration rewards, which we did hit all of the registration rewards available for the global version. So you're going to get in there, you're going to get a bunch of that visor or visori, whatever it is that you guys want to call it. You're going to do your pull there as well. Now, if you get a bad result there, you can just go ahead and at this point, you'll go into the menus and you'll be able to go to clear data, and it's going to delete not the game, but just that account data from your phone there. So you can just go right back to the menu and start it again. Now, if you do get something that you do like and you want to get an even better reroll, try to get something even better than that, you can play the first 10 story missions and you guys should receive a 10 times summon ticket from that as well. So if you're going for, I'm trying to get like, the best WR and an SSR that I want, I'm gonna sit here and reroll for hours and hours and hours, I would suggest for you guys to do the tutorial, do that, that first 10 summon, right? Get the pre-registration rewards, do that 10 summon, and then do your 10 story missions and do that 10 summon, and then see what you get. If you get everything you want, that's when you decide to keep your account there. So if you want to just go halfway through it, maybe the first 2 10 summons are bad, don't even finish the 10 story missions. Just go ahead, delete the save data from the account right there and start again. So try to hit it, banger, 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 pretty much. You are, live the dream if that's what you want to do, to get a very solid start in War of the Visions. Now, as far as characters are concerned, we're going to be going over the UR characters I think you guys should be going for. Now, this is just the reroll tier list. We're not going over all of the characters. The ones that aren't listed here are going to be pretty powerful, but if you're re-rolling, you want to get the best of the best, and these are the ones that we're going to be talking about, as well as the reasons why they're so good. The first one we're going to be talking about is Modena. Modena is going to be an extremely powerful mage. She's got AoE and single target damage. She has elemental damage to take advantage of the different weaknesses of certain bosses as well as enemies that you're going to be going against, but she also has a very strong non-elemental option with Flare. So if you want to just get in there and it hits really hard on a boss or a single target character or unit, that's going to be a solid option for you there. She also does start her battle with her limit burst pretty much ready to use, and it does insanely strong AoE damage. You're going to be able to get through a lot of fights, farm different fights up that way for your materials, to awaken your characters, to awaken your weapons, to level your weapons up, all of that good stuff. It's going to be a very fast option for you, and she stays extremely strong for a very long time. She's still top of the top as far as mages goes, even in JP to the day. And she's just the best mage in the game. You can start with her right now, start leveling her up. She's gonna be probably my #1 pick for you guys out there. Make sure you get your hands on Modena. Downsides to Modena, she is a mage, so she's not very fast, and she's gonna be weak to physical attacks while you're channeling your magic, because just like in Final Fantasy Tactics, the old school one, you don't just auto cast magic. It has like a channeling time. It's got a wait time to it, and there's gonna be some ways around that versus other bosses or with passives or buffs. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna be talking about from other characters later on. Now, moving away from Modena, we're going to a Yaka. A Yaka isn't going to be a character that you absolutely need to have right away or even early on, so you might not want to aim for her. But if you want somebody as an additional UR to aim for, maybe you're going for that double dream roll, she's going to be someone that's going to do very, very well for you later on in the game. She's the best healer in the game by far, and she also has access to time magic from her secondary support class. This means that not only does she have large single target and AoE heals, HP regen, and even access to full life from her base white mage job, and holy to dish out some damage, she also has access to shell protect, counter regen, counter dispel, haste, slow, teleport to swap spots with the target of your choice, and she has the fast chance passive that we just talked about, which quickly speeds up your casting time. She's gonna have really quick heals, really quick buffs, really quick debuffs if you're using her for that as well. Maybe get a quick holy in there for some damage. So she's going to be a top tier option for you guys to aim for as far as the support / healer character for a UR. Now moving away from a support / healer character, we're going into Engelbert. He's going to be a big physical tank for you. He's got huge defense. He can stun with the shield bash. He's got a guard reaction passive, which allows him to, just basically reactively block and throw up his shield to take big damage reduction. I think it's like 30%, 45% with his paladin subclass as well. So that's going to be really, really good for him. But on top of that, he has an activated ability where it basically gives you guts, right? If you think he's going to die, he's going to get hit by a big boss nuke or something, you can use this ability and he won't die. He'll live at 1 HP and you can heal him back up. He also has a 50% physical reduction to physical damage skill that you can use. He's got a large taunt, so you can actually provoke other enemies to be more likely to aggress on him, on your big tank that's going to be taking no damage there. He also can break enemy stats as well as movement and skill uses. He does have access to AP break, which is basically, the way that enemies and yourself are also going to be using a lot of your special abilities. You can basically just drain their AP away. He's got speed break, arm break, and mental break as well. So he's got all of this cool stuff. The downside of Engelbert is that the main character that you get, Mont, is actually a really, really, really good character as well. But if you want like a really bulky team, Mont's pretty much the only free tank that you're going to get, one of the best free tanks in the world. So if you want to go with just Mont, you won't probably need Engelbert, but he is Engelbert, incredibly powerful. And if you want to go for like a tanky arena team or tanky just team structure around, Engelbert's going to be that guy for you. Now we have 2 more URs to talk about. This one is going to be, what's the word to say? Maybe a little controversial. Gilgamesh is actually an insane character in War of the Visions. Okay, he's extremely flexible, hard-hitting, fast. He's got AoE, he's got single target damage. He debuffs slashing resistance on his hard-hitting AoE, and slashing resistance is pretty powerful and pretty potent because there's a lot of team building synergies that you can do with slashing damage. There's some pretty powerful slashing damage characters, and when you go into team building options, we won't get too much into in this video with the Visoria cards and the summons and stuff. You can actually build a slashing damage team, and he's going to have a slashing damage debuff for you, and these cards are going to be buffing your slashing damage and your attack for your whole party. And it's really, really powerful, really, really strong there. Now, on top of just doing damage and debuffing and slashing resistance and being a fast guy, he also has, right away, he can self-buff with haste. So you won't even really need anyone to buff his speed because he can do it himself. But later on, he can also learn access because Time Mage is one of his secondary support jobs. He can actually just cast haste and quicken, which just fills up someone's gauge right away to just go, as well as actual spells there. So on top of that, he's got a bunch of large attack up passives, and he also does have the fast chant passive you can learn as well. So if there's a battle where maybe you don't really want to use him as a damage dealer, maybe the boss resists slashing damage and is like a magic weak boss, you can still maybe bring him if you want to. He's got an AoE heal, he's got access to these haste spells and quicken and stuff, so you can make your mage go right again, right? Turn order, you have your mage cast a spell, you have him quicken your mage cast a spell again, blows the boss up right there. So that's something that you can do with him as well. Now the downside for Gilgamesh is he is rarer than any of the other URs in the game, and on top of that, he actually takes twice the amount of awakening crystals and character shards to level up compared to any other UR. You could level up 2 URs to max level compared to just leveling up Gilgamesh himself. So he's gonna be an incredibly hard character to level up to the max level of 100 due to the fact that he's gonna take that extra grind time. And I do believe that his character shard dungeon doesn't unlock until a little bit later on. He's one of the later characters to actually get that like daily shard dungeon. So you're going to be having this character, you can get him to like maybe level 70, 75. You don't need to have a character at 100, but that is a big thing that's going to turn a lot of people off from Gilgamesh, is the fact that he's just twice as hard to level up compared to any other character and twice as hard to actually pull in the game. Now, if you want someone else to do slashing damage, then the last UR we're going to be talking about is actually Stern. Stern is a hard-hitting slashing damage dealer. Starts out with, I think it's Soldier, Dark Knight. He gains access to Dragoon as well as Ninja later on. These help buff up his mobility and speed. Very, very, very strong character there. He does have Hazard Break, which is a skill that does a large amount of damage. He just hits really hard. He can buff his own attack, gets a lot of attack passives. Very, very hard-hitting character. He does have like a counter attack. He's a very simple character. He's not going to do a whole bunch of stuff, but with all of the different slashing damage buffs you can put on with the card system and the summons, and maybe slashing resistance down from someone else in your party, he can really get in there and do a bunch of damage for you. Very simple to use, and he's just all about running around the battlefield, hitting things really hard, and just doing damage. He does some other Dark Knight stuff as well, right? He can drain AP from people and similar such things as draining HP. He's got some of those aspects as well, but if you want someone to just hit really hard, Stern is going to be someone to aim for. Now, those are going to be the top 5 URs that you guys are going to want to have access to. Reroll for which one of those that you feel like it, and it's really cool that there's a mage, there's a healer, there is a tank, that is really good, and then Stern is a slashing physical damage dealer. So they're all there, and then Gilgamesh is like your jack of all trades, you know, support damage dealing. You can see how crazy that character is, and when I did do the original sneak peek as I had access to the global version, I had access to Gilgamesh, had him leveled up, and he's just so good. He's just so good. He's just so good. Now, moving on, we are talking about the MRs here. Now, if you are used to the normal connotations of, you know, in some gacha games, rare, super, super rare, and then you are MR is the replacement in War of the Visions for super, super rare. So there's no like super, super rare and then MR and then you are. MR is super, super rare. Now, there's 2 that I want to talk about here. The first one's going to be Fina. You can use her early on for a healer. This way you don't really, you know, need to have access to some other UR healer like a Yaka. But the main thing that she does do, she has this buff. I think it's maybe going to be called Cheer in the global version. I'm not really sure what they're going to call it, but it's a buff that increases attack, magic, reduces physical damage taken, and also increases your faith. And this faith buff can be stacked over and over and over. And faith is one of the things that is going to increase the amount of magic damage that you do there. So that's a way for you to raise your max faith pretty early on in a battle. We're gonna be having a video on that as well, how to raise up your brave, how to raise up your faith. Those things are making a return from similar titles like Final Fantasy Tactics. And they do have some sort of effect on how your character operates in War of the Visions. So you're gonna want to be looking out for ways to increase those over time. You can permanently increase them as well. So that's a very, very good thing for her. She also learned that cheer ability really early on. And then on top of that, she's like a ranged character, so you can keep her safe from harm. She has a bow, so if you need her to attack, you can do that. You can raise her range too as well, because her secondary subclass there is Gunner, and if you go that route, she can raise your ranged attack, excuse me, wow, and your crit hit rate for allies as well. She also has access to Asuna, full life, healing, single target AoE, all of that stuff. So it's a very solid character to start off with as an MR, right? Maybe you pull her in addition to one of the URs you want. That's going to be a pretty solid start for you in War of the Visions. Now, we also have Marguerite, which is a character I think you guys should really be looking out for, because the way that you're going to be leveling up a lot of the time in War of the Visions is you're going to be putting a lot of your effort early on to someone just carry you through all the battles, right? Carry you through co-op to farm up different materials to level up all your characters, carry you through the story, carry you through this, that, and the other thing. You're going to be putting all of your big guns on one guy pretty much. And that's why Fina's in there as well, because of cheer. You can put that cheer buff over and over and over on whoever's carrying you through that fight. And then Marguerite is very similar because she starts out with Time Mage as her job. So she can cast haste, she can cast a slow, she can cast immobilize, she can swap spots with somebody else. So she's there as a secondary buffer. I did this in both JP when I started, and I did this in the War of the Visions global early access beta, not early access, what was it, closed beta test. I used Fina and Marguerite on Gilgamesh, for example. He just ran around willy-nilly, just super strong, bonus attack, reduced damage taken, could heal, very strong stuff. But in addition to being able to cast time magic, Marguerite also has the fast cast passive, because not all the jobs in the game that each of the characters have give them the same skills. So some characters might get fast cast, some characters might not get fast cast. She does have fast cast, and it's gonna make her recovery magic that she can get and her support magic cast even faster. So you can start putting haste on everyone as fast as possible. You haste her and you haste someone else and you haste. It's really good. On top of that, she has access to quicken too, so you can, with this fast cast with haste on herself, start giving people not only haste, but when you want them to really go fast, you haste them and then you start quickening them. So anytime Marguerite gets a turn, you give Marguerite's turn basically to somebody else. And with, like I said, that carry going through and killing everything for you, that's very, very effective for you. Now, on top of that, if you get her a red mage, she also does learn access to some carrying magic. She can fast cast buff for other mages too. She gets a fast cast buff that you can put on someone like your Modena if you're using a magic damage dealer at that point. She also gets access to Asuna, and she gets a reactive sort of passive that gives her a chance to dodge magic damage done. So that's going to be the main characters that we're going to be talking about. Remember, we're not going over all of the characters, all the tier lists. The ones that I didn't mention, the URs, they're all usable for sure. But if you're re-rolling, you want the biggest, best start. These are the 5 URs and the 2 MRs you guys should be keeping an eye out for in War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. You want to see more War of the Visions or FFBE content or other Final Fantasy content, this is the channel for you. If you want to go ahead and hang out with us when we're streaming, check that out as well. We have lots of War of the Visions content coming out this week in FFB on this channel. Don't miss it. Lots of cool stuff that you guys probably don't know about yet. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.